Hello, my name is Open World Addict, and this is the first of a series that I'm going to call Total War Academy. This series is gonna show you a few things that the advisor wouldn't have told you, and really help people that struggle getting into this game, help them manage it better. So, and I'm not going to just go this game and starting with Rome Total War because it's the earliest, simplest. I'm going to go through all of them. I'm going to go through each of them, one series at a time. Each series is going to be about a different topic. First, I'm going to cover information. Where you get all the information. The Total War games throws a lot of information at you. Where you get all this information and what to make of it. What it means and what you can learn out of it. That's the first thing. Next is going to be your how to manage. The next three are about how to manage your empire in finances, your cities, and your people, your family members, and your main characters, basically, and your armies. So now this first series, starting with Rome Total War, is going to be about information. Now, if we look at the main screen, you see a lot of information. Here's troops. We go to the city, there's your buildings. There's your money, the year and stuff. Now, here's the main game screen. This area gives you a lot of information that if you don't realize it, you miss some important bits. For example, all your cities, you just look around all your cities, you can get a general consensus. Hold on a second, let me turn off the audio. Because that's not important. Anyway, so if you look at all your cities, you can get a general consensus. I started with Carthage because they were big and they had some units outside the city and some others inside the city. You can get a general consensus of all your cities. Everything shows, all the cities show how much money the city is making for you, its income, how happy or unhappy your people are, the public order, and if the population is increasing or decreasing. Now, if we zoom down to some areas, you can also see that there's some trade resources in the properties. Like this territory has some oil, some grain and timber. Let's see, anything else? And some elephants. And these trade resources affect trade, and things like elephants attract Excuse me. I got rudely interrupted by one of the ongoing programs of my system. I have to turn them off before I record. Anyway, what was I saying? Also, you know, there's two more images of this city, Carthage. One is because this city is constructing a building and recruiting a unit. If all you want to do is get a sense of how your empire is doing, that's all you need. It tells you how much money city population is happy or not, population is growing or not, whether you're constructing anything, whether you built, or whether you're recruiting anything. Now, there is a ton of more information in this game. A ton. One of the most important things... Oh, before I get out of the main screen, I want to go to specific units and characters. This unit has 3 stars. 4 stars next to their image. That means their commander has 4 command stars. We'll talk about that later, but that's information you can see right there. So, what am I doing? One of the most important things you're going to look at is this, because this will tell you everything you need to know in a glance about what's going on in your empire, as well as just looking at the screen. This tells you all your military forces, where they are, and how many soldiers are with them. It also shows you each character's attributes, which are command, management, influence. If we look down, we may see intrigue. I don't see it. That's because it was not here. I'll talk about these all later when I talk about characters. The same thing with these settlements. It gives you a little more detail. Instead of just images, it gives you numbers. It gives governor. So this is more information than just you can see on the map. And then you have your agents. And there is the subterfuge. So that's really important, especially as your empire gets building. It's important to keep tabs on everything. You can lose everything just by looking at it on the map. But everything has information. If we go into here, you right click on anything, you'll get an information card. This gives you information about the characters' abilities and traits. This is a diplomat. More importantly, the most important information you'll get by doing this is from your units and buildings. Well, this shows what a building provides, and this shows what a unit can do. Now, Cantabrian Circle, that is a tactic you could take on the battlefield. Poor morale means it doesn't have much morale and can set up. That's one of the things you can do during a siege, and that's digging under the enemy's walls. This is the kind of information that I didn't even know when I started. Other important pieces of information on here are the upkeep costs. And we'll cover that another time when we talk about finances. And this is how well it'll do in battle. So you should look all these things when deciding on recruiting a unit. So if I go to my recruitment and I say, this is what I'll get when I recruit this unit. This is what I'll get when I recruit this unit. This can form a wedge, fast moving. This is all important information. If you don't know what your units do, read their unit cards. The information is there. And of course, right clicking on a character gives you their character tab. So that also allows you to recruit mercenaries. And traits and retinue. I'll talk about all of that later because that gets into areas that I don't want to cover in this video. Now here in your faction overview, you have the faction tab. Then you have the finances tab. And I'll explain more of this later, but to get you started, what you need to know is that army upkeep, that's how much money your army is costing you. Recruitment is the money that you spent recruiting units. Construction is the money spent on building structures. Diplomat contributes is the money spent or gained through diplomatic negotiations. Taxes is this money spent through is money gained from the from your cities. Trade is also gained from your cities. Mining is gained, and farming is gained from your cities. The most important, I'll explain some more of those later. And here is corruption. And that can be bad because that can be income and expenditures. The important thing is the totals. The projected totals. This is the projected totals from your income. If all these are still true by the end of the term. Expenditures, same thing. If all these are still true by the end of the term, that is going to be your total expenditures. This is your total profits. That means that is how much money will go into your treasury next term after all income and expenditures are decided. Starting treasury is what your treasury is going to look like next term. And then there's the projected treasury total. Now, what's important is that you keep your eye on the projected profits, because that, if you keep that in the plus, that will keep you going. I'll talk about that later, but this is what all these mean. Of course, there's your diplomacy. Not that much information that is not Same thing with your family tree. It tells you their age, any stats. There's not more information than you need there. And of course, there's information here, but that's just for you to peruse, just to compare yourself with other factions. So the next piece of information is the cities. And when you're still learning what is what, until you know what's exactly causing your money to go down, what's exactly causing your public order to go down, what effect different buildings will have on those things, you want to keep this open. This shows you, this is from population growth from farming, food imports, buildings. As you go further in the game, build more, expand, you'll have more things. Squalor, that's filth. Garrison, that's how the number of troops you have in your city. Law, that is affected by certain buildings. Governor's influence. Population boom. So these two things do affect each other. Then you have admin for income, trade, taxes, armed forces salaries, and the generals and agents salaries. And so each city has its share that it pays for these things. You also have your trade details, which shows you where you're getting trade from and how much money you're making in farming income and mining income. Last three things you want to pay attention to each other is that this is how long the settlement will hold out in the siege, and this shows signs of peasants' descent. If it's under siege, these are event icons basically, and if there's disease. So that's all. I hope you understand some things. If anyone has a question about anything, any piece of information that you find in the game that you don't understand, you can always leave a comment in this comments in this video, and I will try to answer you as best as I can, and other people might be able to answer your question as well. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this was informative to you, and next time I will be going over the barbarian invasion campaign. It's still Road to War, but there are a few bits of information that are different from here before we go into Medieval Total War, Medieval 2. And so, Barbarian Invasion, Rome Total War is going to be next time. And I'll see you then. This is Open World Addict for Total War Academy. Signing out.